met with gunfire. Officers retreated. More shots rang out from the outside of the house, inside to the outside, and struck Chief Will Jackson with the Newton Police Department. Struck him in the back.
We start tonight with the latest on Newton Police Chief Will Jackson. This morning, he was shot in the line of duty. He was assisting a forced eviction at a home in Call, Texas. Fortunately, the chief was wearing a bulletproof vest, and his injuries are non-life threatening. Newton County Sheriff Robert Burby says the chief will spend the night at St. Elizabeth in Beaumont, and he should be released from the hospital tomorrow. This is the home in the 3100 block of FM 1004 where that shooting happened. Officers were there to evict 2 occupants around 9:30 this morning, but when they knocked, those occupants refused to leave and they opened fire on the officers. Deputies eventually got the suspects to surrender, but that's not before Chief Jackson was shot in the back. The 2 suspects are still awaiting arraignment at the Newton County Jail. Their pictures won't be released until at least tomorrow, but jail staff did share their names with 12 News, Betty Richards and L.C. Gosey Jr. Newton County Constable Colton Havard expects them to be charged with attempted capital murder of a peace officer. We also spoke to Sheriff Burby after the incident today. He says those suspects made a big mistake.
Brute force like this does not do anything but add more problems to a situation at hand because now, they're facing high-level charges. The job that the officers do out there every day, putting their lives on the line and everything, it is something that people take for granted, but it's something that we do every day.
And 12 News will, of course, update this story as we learn more about those suspects and the condition of Chief Jackson. You can visit the 12 News Now app and tune in tomorrow for 12 News at 5:30 for the latest information. A family in Port Neches is recovering tonight after they were attacked by their family dog. Port Neches police officers arrived at the scene in the 1200 block of MacArthur Drive on Saturday morning. Police say that dog broke free from a fence and charged at them. Officers felt they had no choice but to open fire, killing that dog. 3 family members were taken to a hospital for their injuries. Port Neches Police Chief Cherie Griffith confirms with 12 News that the dog was a pit bull. 2 people and their dog are displaced tonight after their home went up in flames in West Orange. The West Orange Fire Department responded to the 2800 block of Bonham Street Friday night. When they got there, the house was already engulfed. Firefighters believe this fire started from a hot water heater. They declared the home a total loss. You can see their efforts there as they got to the scene. Thankfully, 2 adults and the dog were able to escape the house unharmed. We have an update tonight on a story we shared with you Friday. We spoke with a Beaumont resident after a box truck took down 3 utility poles in her neighborhood. It happened Thursday morning at the intersection of Fannin Street and Dixie Drive. That's just off College Street. The wire damage left the entire neighborhood without power for several hours. When we talked to a representative with AT&T on Friday, they said they were looking into the issue, but tonight they've shared an official statement. A spokesperson confirms they are working to restore home, phone, and internet services to the customers in the Fannin Street area. That's after a section of AT&T cable was damaged by a third party. They say they appreciate the patience of customers as they work on the necessary repairs. Some chilly temperatures overnight as we turn things over to the storm trackers for a first look at your Saturday night forecast. Live view outside on the Roofing 911 Skycam network showing 50 degrees at Packard-La Prairie. I am in the Storm Tracker Center right now with meteorologist Kerry Cooper. Kerry, just how cold might it get tonight?
Well, not like last night where we had upper 20s and lower 30s across southeast Texas. Looking at 40s tonight. In fact, it'll actually warm up as we head toward daybreak. Heading for a warming trend for a few days. Take a look outside now. Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, clear skies. It's a rather cool night, low to mid 40s across the area. We shouldn't drop much more. We have south winds off the Gulf, some low clouds developing later tonight. In fact, temperatures may actually rise as we head toward daybreak. That south wind off the Gulf in the mid 40s. Looking at futurecast, it actually shows that we're in the mid 40s now. Watch what happens as we head toward morning. 48 up to almost 50 after that. So temperatures will actually warm as we head into the overnight hours and to tomorrow morning. In fact, low 50s coming up by daybreak. So we actually warm toward morning with that south wind off the Gulf. We'll talk about that. And yes, there are some rain chances to talk about next week. We'll tell you when coming up in just a few minutes.
Some solid weather this afternoon to celebrate the 122nd anniversary of Spindletop. The Spindletop Gladys City Boomtown Museum hosted their big celebration today at the site in Beaumont. Back in 1901, the birth of the modern petroleum industry was right here in Beaumont. The gusher responsible for the big boom operating today at the big party. Also a great time for those in attendance to dress up in their early 20th century garb. Special thanks to Patrick Anderson for sending in these pictures to 12 News. Those outfits absolutely on point. They even had the revolvers and the repeaters out there today. The celebration, of course, included reenactments. They also had music and tea parties.
It's really amazing how he stood up for his people, and I love how the school is very cultural and how respectful they are, just like the legend himself.
Martin Luther King weekend off to a fun start in Beaumont this morning. The Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade returned to Beaumont's South Park neighborhood. COVID canceled the fun for the last 2 years, but the school bands, the dance team, and the floats were all back on Highland Avenue this morning. This is just one of the many ways Southeast Texans plan to honor the civil rights icon. Today, about having fun, but also, of course, about remembering Martin Luther King's sacrifice.
And Dr. King represented change. He believed in change and fairness, that we would all be equal and be able to come together in love. And this is a great day.
Today's parade route started on Highland Avenue and ended at the Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School on Avenue A. All of the students and the staff were encouraged to participate. And for more Martin Luther King Jr. events, you can just text MLK to 409-838-1212. We'll send you a list of all the events happening in Southeast Texas. This weekend, the death toll from vicious tornadoes across the Southeast Thursday has risen to 9. 7 deaths confirmed in Alabama, 2 more in Georgia. In Alabama, search and rescue crews found destroyed homes by the dozen. The coroner in Autauga, Alabama, says 4 people were killed by flying debris. In Georgia, a 5-year-old boy killed when a tree fell and landed on the car he was in. The National Weather Service says at least 7 tornadoes ripped through parts of Alabama. Another 4 touched down in Georgia. 5 more classified documents found at President Biden's Delaware home on Thursday. It brings the total number of pages discovered this week to 6. A special counsel has been appointed to investigate Biden's handling of classified documents after his vice presidency. ABC's Derek Dennis has more on the growing political pressure and the Republican response.
The White House has disclosed 5 more classified pages were found at President Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware. White House lawyer Richard Sauber says that discovery was made Thursday after Biden's lawyers searched a room next to his garage. The lawyers noticed a document that contained at least 1 classified page. Because they did not have security clearances, they suspended their search and voluntarily notified the Justice Department. In a statement, Sauber adding, quote, "While I was transferring it to the DOJ officials who accompanied me, 5 additional pages with classification markings were discovered among the material with it, for a total of 6 pages. The DOJ officials with me immediately took possession of them." The discovery the same day Attorney General Merrick Garland announced a special counsel would look into President Biden's handling of classified materials after he left the Obama administration.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability.
The political firestorm over the documents overshadowing President Biden's agenda last week, raising questions about whether more would be found.
Are you confident you did nothing wrong, Mr. President?
In November, the Biden team notified the DOJ of about 10 classified documents found at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. More than a month later, President Biden's lawyers located additional documents at his home. And just this week, the DOJ said the president's lawyers found 1 more document also at the home.
Any questions that we may have about the review, about the process, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Meantime, House Republicans who expressed little interest in investigating former President Trump's handling of classified documents have now launched their own probes. They're demanding answers from the White House and the DOJ. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.